Worms break them down, usually by the following year, and there's not much left of the plant when I go to start new things in the springtime. Having this stuff cleared off gets me amped up for next season, next spring. Less talky, more worky. I'm definitely not gonna be putting CUCAMELONs in this bed next year, but I'm not seeing frost temps at least for another week and a half or so. I'm seeing 38 degrees as a low in about 10 days. Probably be putting the garden to rest for the winter time about the same time that we put our garlic in. So that'll be in like... Welcome to our channel. My name is Crystal.
And I'm Steve.
This morning we went apple picking again for the third time. Then the kids picked up some pumpkins that we got. We got another bucket of apples I'm gonna be processing somehow. Steve has been working on
cutting up wood.
Cutting up wood.
It's called bucking.
Got it. You want to show us what you've been doing?
It's hidden, but you can come see.
Oh, I love this tree. It's so pretty. I want to put lights on it for Christmas. Okay, let's see.
That's what I've been doing.
Oh, okay. It smells like burning wood out here.
That's because a lot of it's rotted on the outside. Yeah, this water log just makes it really heavy. I had to swap my chain out because I was stupid and didn't realize I went through on the other side and nicked a rock. So I was wasting a lot of time not cutting anything with a dull blade. So I swapped it out with the one I sharpened last year and got all this done.
Alright, I'm gonna go over and scope out the garden. I walked through a spider web. So I have a lot of cleanup to do in the garden. I'm not gonna be able to do it all at once. I have a lot of things still growing, like carrots and beans. I'm not gonna be removing everything. On the outside of the garden, the bean trellis. It's a cattle panel trellis. It is one of my favorite ways to grow beans. Some of the garden beans that I planted, they were from seeds from previous years, ones that I had grown. And they grew well, but the leaves and the beans themselves were covered in those rust spots. And so I didn't get a really good harvest from them. And a couple of weeks ago, I decided, even though they were still growing, I was just gonna cut them at the base. I usually leave the roots of the plants in the ground. The worms break them down, usually by the following year. And there's not much left of the plant when I go to start new things in the springtime. But behind me is the cattle panel trellis, and all of it's dead now. Today's task will be just to clean it off and make it a blank slate for next spring. Most of it. One of our pumpkins has started to grow over it, and then I had it drop back down. I don't think I'm gonna have time to get any pumpkins off of it, but you never know. I'm gonna let it keep growing there. Clearly we have a lot of work to do over here, but here is how the trellis looks now. Much better. Having this stuff cleared off gets me amped up for next season, next spring. I also got these are some purple potted pole beans, the seed pods. You hear them? So I saved some of those. I'll break them open, make sure they're dry, and store them for next year. I'm going to come over and take that tomato plant out of this container because that's for sure not going to be producing much. now I'm over here by the cucumber bed. It's getting pretty late in the day, so I actually am running out of time to get these projects done today. The next thing I could definitely start and finish would be cleaning out the cucumber bed. And I'm still getting lots of these CUCAMELONs, the Mexican sour gherkins. I do have, there's a butternut squash, I think, in here. There's another one that's in here. I gotta just pay attention to those vines. I might leave it alone. But I'm definitely going to be taking out the CUCAMELONs. Took over the deer fencing and stuff, so I'm just going to rip them all out and probably keep them more contained next year for where I put them. Less talky, more worky.
Something that's been broken. Go get lost in a little town. Get dressed up and just drive around. Get both feet on some solid ground. I'm gonna fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. I'm gonna fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. Take a call with an old friend. Get the guts to start over again. You gotta lose to be ready to win. Just enough to fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. I'm gonna fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. Gonna fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up.
I'm definitely not going to be putting CUCAMELONs in this bed next year, but I can pretty much guarantee they will be putting themselves in this bed next year. My container's almost full. I think I'm just going to quickly go through and clean up this bed here. Most of the tomatoes are done.
An old friend. Get the guts to start over again. You gotta lose to be ready to win. Just enough to fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. I'm gonna fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. Gonna fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. Gonna fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up.
Alright, so that's pretty good. Both sides pretty much cleared out. Alright, I think that's gonna do it for today. I have to get in and finish up making dinner. The next step for us here is I'm gonna just slowly start cleaning the things up that aren't really producing anymore, and then from there I will just start cutting things out. Today is October 15th, and so we really could technically get a frost at any point now. I don't see it really in the forecast anytime soon. I can take a look. I'm not seeing frost temps at least for another week and a half or so. I'm seeing 38 degrees as a low in about 10 days. I have some time still to get things cleaned out. Probably be putting the garden to rest for the winter time, about the same time that we put our garlic in. So that'll be in like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. We usually put it in the last week of October to mid-November, depending on how cold it is. And from there, I also mulch some of the beds that need it. But now I'm gonna head indoors and make dinner. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.